So for those who don't know you yet, who is Helne outside of running?
Okay, I'm actually a teacher. I'm teaching high school learners mathematics. And yeah, I'm a wife. I'm 29 years old, and that's me.
Awesome. And so running has been your main sport for the past how many years? Tell us a little bit about that. When did you start running, and how has it evolved over the past few years? And then we'll go into what you are busy with at the moment in terms of sport.
Okay, so you know that thing that they say, some people say, I wish I never married in a family that run 5 days on holidays. That's literally my family. We do that. um, and yeah, so in school I started running. I was a sprinter. And then after school I was like, I can't do this further, so I need to do something else. Especially when you start picking up weight. And then obviously my family ran. So I said, okay, let's start running. And over weekends, basically what I did is my training was entering a race, run a race, and it got more and more and more. And then I started training and then started seeing progress. And then, I developed and I wanted to do better. And yeah.
That's awesome. So what keeps you coming back to endurance sports? So you said you were a sprinter, but now what is keeping you coming back to this long distance?
Yeah, so I think one of the big things is the community. On a Saturday when you have a race, afterwards, it's not always about the race, but what happens after the race. Meeting new people, chatting about what happened in that morning. And then my uncle a few years ago, he passed away, and he was also kind of in endurance sports. So sometimes I'm just like, why I'm doing this? And I always say I know my why, because I do it because he can't do it anymore. So that sometimes drives me, especially when it gets tough. That pushes me further as well.
Okay, wow.
Oh, that's great. So from running, you've ventured into Ironman. You've done a few comrades, and now you're training for the full Ironman. How's the journey been going from just running to training for the Ironman, doing a few 70.3s, and now training for the full one?
Yeah, so I don't want to take away the fact that comrades is tough, but it's kind of so much easier training for a comrades than a full Ironman. I never thought I would have said that, but a few people told me that, and I'm experiencing it myself. Obviously, I've done 3 comrades marathons, so I was like, okay, what's going to be next? I need to do something that's going to challenge me. Not that comrades doesn't challenge me. Obviously, I want to do better each year. But I was like, okay, let's push myself. What can I do next? That's also going to be challenging. And like you said, I've done a few half Ironmans. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, I think the next challenge should be full Ironman. But it's quite tough, balancing the 3 disciplines, putting in time. It's not like you go out, you run 1 hour, and you gain a lot of that. Each day it's like an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening, or 2 hours, double sessions. Like, it's quite tough. So it's quite a big change from comrades to Ironman.
And how was the transition just going from running to the Ironman? What made you decide to try an Ironman? Was also the challenge of it?
Yeah, so my first half Ironman I actually started, but then that day I was swimming like an hour and 7 minutes. So I made the cut into transition with like 3 minutes. I started biking on that day, and then they cut me off after the bike. That was my first one. So it took me literally 2 years to come back to do another half Ironman, because I was like, I'm never swimming in an ocean again. It was really tough. So then I started training. I focused a lot on the bike for the next one, and it was a good day. And then I started running comrades, and then after that I was like, okay, let's try something new. And I was like, okay, let me get a coach that focuses on triathlon. And I gained a lot of confidence now. And I think, like, I've done muscle base 70.3. I was like, okay, what's next? And I guess also last year we went down to PE to support the Ironman athletes. And I was like, it started 7 a.m, and at 10 I was like, WhatsApping my mom. I was like, what are you doing next year this time? Because the vibe and everything was like, let's just do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So, as someone whose strength is running, how was it to develop this now, cycling and swimming, especially like you said, with the swimming being such a daunting thing for you in the ocean and so forth? So, how have you found this like transition to? Because I mean, being mainly a runner, you kind of it's your playing field. Now all of a sudden you have to get used to being on a tri bike and taking fluids or liquids and food and so forth while you cycling, and then the swimming and so forth. So how has that been? Fun, or has it been like really daunting, or is it, just give us a bit of your opinion.
So when I started training for my previous, or the last 70.3 I've done, I bought a new TT bike. And that was quite tough, going from the road bike to a TT bike. It was like a week in, and I told my husband, no, I think I need to go back and get my road bike back. I can't do this. And I obviously trained a lot on it. I changed my whole indoor system to work on the TT bike. So that obviously helped a lot. Lying in the tri bars, seeing that it's actually so much easier using that. But balancing the three is quite difficult. Like running is, like I said, you can go an hour and you've gained a lot, or at least ran 10 to 12 kilometers, where an hour outside cycling is not always that effective. So balancing the three is quite tough, but at least I don't have to do the thinking. My coach does that, so that's helped quite a lot. But also, it's also good in a sense of every day is different. So it's not running the whole time. Your body doesn't take that much shots, if I can say it like that. I'm not taking away the fact that it's quite tough, the hours that you put in, but it's something new each day. So you think, okay, at least I need to cycle tomorrow. And then the next day it's swimming, and then it's running again. So it's something new every single day, which is quite refreshing.
Definitely. So that's like definitely the mindset that's, changed from just the running to the triathlon. For me personally, also doing triathlon, it's like you say, it's refreshing. You kind of, as soon as you start to get bored with the one sport, you have to go on to the next one. And that's the same even when you are doing a physical triathlon. As soon as you get over the swim, it's kind of like, okay, well, at least I can get on a bike now. But so on the mental part, like what fears or doubts have, come up the past few weeks, for the preparation of a full Ironman?
Yeah, so obviously the fact that swim, that first Ironman or half Ironman that I've done was so tough, that's something that will always come up. And obviously PE doesn't have a good reputation in the ocean. Like they sometimes cut it, they sometimes shorten it. So that is quite a fear that I've got. And the cutoffs, that is always something that's always in the back of my head, because once it happened to me that I didn't make the cutoff. But at the end of the day, that's also driving me to make the cutoff, like to make sure that I won't let them cut me. You put in a lot of work, so you want to do better. You want to actually enjoy it as well on the day, not suffer the whole time. Yes. So for me, every time I think of these things, that's gonna be tough, like 3.8 Ks, like not all normal people swim 3.8 Ks or cycle 180. Then when I start training, I'm like, no, I need to put in the work, I can't just chill it out. So yeah.
That's awesome. So let's move on to your nutrition and fueling. Don't know if you maybe want to ask specific questions there, Suzanne.
So so nutrition is obviously very important when it comes to endurance sport, and I think as a runner, you probably learned that lesson from the start. And going into an Ironman, it's definitely a step up, because you have to manage the amount of effort that goes into it. So where would you say was your biggest learning curve in terms of nutrition? Let's start with running wise. Like, where did you have that like one run where you were like, this gel or this drink that I just had made that massive difference, and that's where you knew that it was very important for your training and for competing?
Yeah, so while I was training for all these runs that I've done, like a lot of people told me, your talent takes you so much, then your training takes you a bit further, but then performance takes you what you put in your body. Like, I never believed that, and I was always like, the least amount that I can take in, that's where I was. Like, okay, let's just do what I can to get me through this run. And I always thought, okay, that's maybe why, didn't know that's why I had a bad run. it's because I didn't feel enough.
Yes.
So yeah, quickly I learned that the more I put in, or if I time it correctly and plan it correctly, then it will contribute to me doing better. Because a PB can, well, you can run a PB, but that fuel that you put in can actually develop a better PB the next time you run. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And what's the biggest difference now with your fueling for the 3 disciplines compared to just, with the comrades? Because, I mean, it's quite different. You have a lot more, well, in the swim you can't really, well, you can, because it's the Australian, so you run out, so you can maybe take some fuel there. But then, especially in the bike, it's a lot different to just running, because you have a bit more space to pack stuff, and you're not, hopping
Bouncing.
around and bouncing around, that's the right word, and so forth. So how has your strategy changed, or is it kind of just the same?
Like you said, running is quite a lot of bouncing, everything hopping. So I think eating is quite difficult while running, where on the bike you can actually use it to your advantage. Like obviously it's going to be 180 Ks, which is a lot, or even Saturday rides, 5 hours. We go out for a long time. Firstly, the fueling helps me to sometimes take my mind off what's going on, because it's quite 5 hours is long.
Yes.
So eating something or thinking of what should I do when, it kind of helps you getting the time passes as well. But I also think that on the bike it's super important to put in more food, not only a gel.
Yes.
Because that's you can actually use it in your body, and then which can obviously lead to when you start the running, it's already there, you've got the carbs in. Not that I'm saying I'm not going to take something on the run, but for comrades it's easier for me to take a gel. I put it in, I swallow it, and it's done. Whereas on the bike I can now think of, okay, let's eat bread, or let's take dates, something. And like you said, there's more space of taking something on your bike and fueling. And also you can have your bottles with you, which you can have a carb mix, which you don't always have while running. It's not always nice running with a vest 90 K, so I didn't like that. So in comrades I literally had gels, and when I saw my husband, I took potatoes, and that was it. But obviously this is also now a few hours longer on the day, so I need to put in food, not only gels or only a mix. Yeah.
What are some of your go-to real food sources that you'll have on the bike?
So I like something to eat, something like that coconut date bars. I will also eat potatoes, because that's something that works for me, and then bananas is something that's also working for me. I haven't tried the bread yet, but I know Bovril bread can also help me, and that's something that I'll implement in this few weeks that's going ahead. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So have you had to train your gut differently now with this, Ironman compared to the running? Now, like you mentioned, incorporating more foods. Have you noticed, okay, I need to slow down a little bit on the foods, or I need to incorporate a little bit more on the longer rides to get used to it, or has it come easy to you?
So luckily for me, my gut's quite strong. I don't know if it's because I've just used a lot of different types of brands. Maybe that helped me. But usually, fingers crossed, that it's not a problem for me. And I know they say nothing new on race day, but the other day I went to a race and I forgot my carb mix. But then someone was like, I've got an extra bottle. I'm like, okay, give it to me. And it actually worked for me. So,
nice.
Which is cool.
Yes.
Because in case of emergency, it can also work. So luckily for me, it's not a thing that bothers me. But definitely something like real food, you need to get used to it. Because that's not something, especially on a run, that you're going to be used to, especially with the bouncing and everything.
Definitely.
Do you have a go-to breakfast that you'll have before a big session or a race?
Yeah, so I usually just eat oats. Previously I had egg and mayo bread. So that was, but then at a point I was like, it takes so much time each night before the event. I need to plan it. With oats is just quick.
Yeah.
Oats are easy, just pour water and then it's good to go.
Okay.
Good.
All right. So, and maybe take us through what a heavy Ironman training week looks like for you. I know you guys are how many weeks out now?
6 weeks.
Okay, 6 weeks out. So it's That's not a lot, eh? It
Crunch
hit me
time.
now. I'm like, yo, it's like around the corner. Very exciting. I think you're going to do so well. We can't wait to see you. But so you guys are definitely in the thick of it now. I think you either have already reached your peak or you are busy with it. So maybe take us through like a really heavy Ironman training week, hours wise, and how you usually structure it from a Monday to a Sunday and how you plan your life around it. Because, I mean, we still have a life, you know. We try to at least have one.
So Monday to Wednesday is not always set. That's quite nice. It's always different. Like each week, my coach does it differently. But that would be like probably 3 double sessions on each day. So it will be a swim bike, a run bike, and a swim bike, something like that. But then on Thursdays, we always have a track set. Fridays is usually endurance swim, so it's a long swim. Saturdays is a long bike. 5 hours up with like a run off, so a brick run. And then on Sundays we usually have long runs. Yeah, and it differs, but it can go up to 15 hours per week at this stage. Yeah.
That's
quite a lot.
A lot, yeah. And in terms of your fueling, because I know it's not always for everyone, you know, practical or budget-wise, you know, easy for them to have gels at every training session. How do you manage that? Do you train with your like nutrition that you're going to use on race day every single week, or do you use food sources, or how are you working around that hurdle?
So usually on the longer sessions, I would prefer to race or to train with what I'm racing, because just to make sure it actually works, and especially with the timing, not too much of it, not getting nauseous or whatever like that. But in the week, like before an hour run, I would take a banana, something that's, like you said, more cost effective. But then again, going back to my coach again, she's quite hectic on nutrition and taking in fueling during sessions. So it is important. Like I would always use my carb mix that I use on my bike when I do indoor training. Depending on the session, sometimes I take a gel in the week as well. But it's quite important to take before and after. Maybe after a protein shake for the recovery, especially when you have a double session and you have a PM session and you've done the AM session. So, yeah.
So what has been your hardest session so far?
I remember coming back from December holiday, and the first weekend I had to go to Suikerbosrand to do a cycle there, and it's a lot of elevation. Like I haven't done at that stage. I didn't do any long rides. I had to go on my mountain bike, which isn't a setup. Like it was really a tough day. The wind, the weather, everything was terrible. It was really tough. Like that was definitely my hardest session so far. Obviously, I wasn't as fit as now, so maybe it would be different.
Yes.
But when I
won't.
think of Suikerbos, I'm just like, I don't want to go there again. Never again.
So Suikerbosrand is hectic, but it's such a good training ground. But it does humble you. Every single person you talk to will tell you the same thing, that they generally cry when they go there,
especially when it's your first time. You don't know what to expect.
If you go back, it means you really love the sport.
No. It was on my program last week, but I didn't go, so I don't think I'm gonna get there again.
Okay, so what would you say is your favorite discipline, like at the moment? Because we know that you're coming from a running background. Is it still running, or has it changed?
Running is definitely still my favorite. I think the thing with running is it's easy. Put on your tackies and go run. So it's simple, it works. But swimming actually became one of my favorites now. Wow. The more I've done it, the better I've felt. And I think the more in the open water, your confidence build up. So changed a lot from where I came from to where I'm at this stage.
So it's safe to say your least favorite is cycling.
Yeah, it's just because it's so long. And that takes every Saturday morning.
Okay.
Especially now.
Yeah. So what excites you the most about race day in 6 weeks?
I cannot wait to ring the bell and hear Helne, you on Ironman. I think that's to get there, obviously, it's quite
Yeah.
a lot of time before we get there. But yeah, I cannot wait for that moment.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Do you have any other upcoming races except now for your big Ironman that's looking over, that's here soon, that you're training for, that you're planning, or that you'd like to do?
Before Ironman, definitely nothing, because it's obviously 6 weeks out. But then I also entered Comrades for 2 months after Ironman. Yeah.
Okay.
You say that as if it's like,
No,
it's like another race.
Comrades.
Yeah,
It's definitely going to
Comrades,
feel
what
like a breeze from Ironman training, though.
And that will be your fourth one.
Yeah, that will be full.
do you have a time that you, and it's difficult because you're going to, like 8 weeks before that, you would have done an Ironman, but do you have a more or less an idea what you want to achieve?
No. I think this year Ironman is definitely the A race, and then Comrades we'll only start planning that after Ironman.
Okay. I don't think a lot of people can say that.
No.
Their
No,
B
B
races
race is the Comrades.
It's amazing, Helne. Okay, so what does doing well in the Ironman mean to you? Like,
Yeah, so I don't have a time in mind yet. I think that'll only come closer to the time. But I definitely want runner's legs. Like when I get off the bike, I'm one of those that would rather cycle slower to make sure I can run on the day. Like I know it's a 42 and I know like you're not probably going to run for 42 Ks, but
Yeah.
at least enjoying when I get on in my tackies to
Yes.
start running and be able to like feel like nice, I can actually do this, you know. Yeah, that's doing well for me. And obviously enjoying every second. Like I'm not doing this, I don't want to hate every second of that day. Like I want to be happy, I want to, doesn't matter the time at this stage. Yeah.
Why should someone that's listening consider taking on something that scares them?
So I'm taking Comrades as an example because I've done that. I can't say something about Ironman, but a lot of the times in life when I think of something that's difficult, then I literally tell myself I've done the Comrades before. Like nothing is technically harder than that. Like let's say I run 21 for example and it gets tough. Like I'm just like I've done this four
Yeah.
times four in
Yeah.
one day, you know. So I also think that fear stretches your comfort zone. So just getting out of that comfort zone and become bigger than what you are used to. Like try something that's outside of what your body can do or what you think you can do and actually improve or show yourself that you can do better and bigger than what you thought you can. Yeah, and it's literally just growth as well. Like challenge yourself and grow. Yeah.
That's great.
that's awesome.
And do you have any advice for someone that's maybe considering doing, even if it's just a half Ironman, just to get going?
Yeah, I think I actually read something the other day which I agree with. Start small. You don't need the 20,000 Rand bike. You can start with the 5 or 3,000 Rand bike. Like get everything that you need. Start small and just go for it. Like try it. It's not like I had a few people that actually asked me what is advice. But there's nothing that I can say do this or do that. Like enter is the first advice that I can give you. Like I'm one of those, I enter a race, then I need to start training. Like that's something that motivates me as well. Yes, it's quite scary. Like when I entered for Ironman, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But I did it. And then I started worrying about how I'm going to train for it. Yeah.
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we are looking forward to seeing how you do on the 19th. Is it
Yeah.
the 19th? 19th of April at PE African Champs for Ironman. We believe that it's going to be a beautiful and wonderful race for you. You're going to have runner's legs and you're going to enjoy every moment. Well, I think 90% of the moments, let's be honest. It's probably impossible to enjoy every single moment of the Ironman. And yeah, we really enjoyed chatting to you today and getting to know you and to understand like what, you know, who is Helne, inside and outside of her sport. And yeah, we are really excited to follow along and to see how you do and also to see how you do in the Comrades. So
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here today.
Thank you
Yeah.
for inviting me.
Thank you for your time.